So the 6.0 special program just finished, and the main thing buzzing around the community is just how many free rewards we're all about to get. I'm not talking about just a few here and there. We're looking at a huge pool of Primogems, intertwined fates, and anniversary bonuses that are making 6.0 one of the most rewarding patches we have ever seen. With the livestream also confirming the next banners, the big question on everyone's mind is exactly how many free pulls we are getting this time. So let's break it all down in detail, and I'll share some of my own thoughts on how this compares to major updates from the past. Out of Primogems? Don't worry, I've got a way to save money and get double the Genesis crystals. This is lootbar.gg. It works just like the in-game top-up system, but with up to 25% off, and new users even get a 10% extra discount using the link in the pinned comment. See this? The regular $100 pack only costs $85 on Lootbar, and each update they release an exclusive $77 bundle available for your first purchase every version. All you need is your UID, no password, no login. Just pick your bundle, select your server, enter your UID, and your crystals get delivered in seconds. Lootbar has awesome reviews. It's fast, secure, and trusted by tons of players. If you're planning to recharge for Genshin Impact, Star Rail, or Wuthering Waves, don't waste your money. Click the link in the description or pinned comment and top up now with Lootbar. Safe, fast, and way more affordable. First off, let's talk about the main story content. Every new region in Genshin has always brought a ton of Primogems, and Nod Cry is no exception to that rule. Just from the Archon quests and the side story chapters, you can expect around 710 Primogems plus 2 free pulls. Sometimes the developers do convert those pulls into flat Primogem rewards, so it might end up closer to 320 Primogems instead of the pulls, but either way, it's a guaranteed source just for following the main storyline. And you can't forget about all the extra quests sprinkled around, which should add another 500 Primogems on top. It's basically HoYoVerse's way of rewarding us for doing what most of us would do anyway, which is playing through the new lore and meeting the new characters. It has always been this way, whether you think back to Natlan's opening or Fontaine's introduction, and 6.0 is just sticking to that proven pattern. Now, the real treasure trove in any big expansion is always the exploration. Just think about how massive Natlan felt when it first launched, with chests hidden around every corner, achievements popping up for climbing a cliff or solving a random puzzle, and a new offering system that slowly dripped Primogems as you leveled it up. Nod Cry is following in that same tradition. From exploration alone, you're looking at around 2,630 Primogems. When you factor in the new offering system, that's another 1,250 Primogems just from collecting regional materials and feeding them into whatever the new statue or tree equivalent is. If you add about 380 Primogems from achievements tied to exploration and combat, you can see how just walking around and playing the open world becomes one of the most reliable ways to get free pulls. It reminds me of Fontaine's Fountain of Lucine. You never really noticed how quickly the Primogems were piling up until you checked your total. Events are where the Primogem faucet really starts to open up. The main event for 6.0 is set to give out 990 Primogems, while 2 of the smaller events will each provide 420. These numbers are pretty much in line with what we've seen in previous patches, where the big flagship event is worth about 1,000, and the side events are somewhere in the 400 range. What makes 6.0 feel so different, though, are the anniversary rewards that are layered right on top of this. The 5th anniversary celebration is dropping a massive 1,600 Primogems plus 10 intertwined fates. That's one of the biggest single-time rewards we've ever had in the game's history. Remember the 2nd anniversary when we only got 10 pulls and some resources, or even the 3rd anniversary when the community was kind of divided on whether it was generous enough. Well, this year they've clearly stepped it up, and it honestly feels like they want to make sure Nod Cry's debut leaves a really strong, positive impression. Speaking of past updates, I'm really curious to know what you all think. Drop a comment down below and let me know if you believe this is the most generous patch we've ever gotten from HoYoVerse. It's always interesting to see how different players feel about these things, especially those who have been around since the beginning. Now, let's talk about the permanent content, because this is the steady backbone of any patch cycle. Daily commissions across the 42 days of this patch will add up to 2,520 Primogems. It's that same consistent drip of 60 Primogems a day that we have had since launch, and while it might feel small day to day, over a 6-week patch cycle, it really stacks up to a good chunk of pulls. Then you have Paimon's Bargain Shop. Each month, you can trade your Stardust for 5 Intertwined Fates, which is roughly equal to 800 Primogems. On top of that, newer permanent systems are also contributing. The Imaginarium Theater is providing 1,300 Primogems through its challenge floors, while the new Stygian Onslaught combat mode adds another 450. And of course, the Spiral Abyss is still the king of consistent high-yield content, with 1,800 Primogems up for grabs if you can clear all 12 floors across the 3 resets during the patch. For a lot of free-to-play players, the Abyss can feel like the ultimate test of patience and investment, but it is also one of the few ways to get that many Primogems just through your skill and roster. When you combine all of these sources, from the story, exploration, events, anniversary, and the permanent systems, the totals are huge. From September 10th to October 22nd, free-to-play players will be able to collect 19,330 Primogems, which works out to about 120 pulls. If you pick up the Blessing of the Welkin Moon, that number jumps up to 23,110 Primogems, or about 144 pulls. And if you add the Battle Pass on top of that, the grand total goes up to 24,430 Primogems, which is 152 pulls. Even if you only look at the first half of the patch before October 2nd, you're sitting at 88 pulls as a free-to-play player, 100 with the Welkin, and 103 if you're running both. That's a lot of potential for new characters and weapons, especially since the live stream gave us a peek at the banner schedule. What I will say is that this amount of free pulls gives you an incredible amount of flexibility. If you've been saving for a specific character, this patch is basically a dream come true. And if you're a newer player still trying to build out your roster, the combination of all these Primogems and the anniversary pulls acts as a safety net that we don't usually see to this extent. So when you look at the whole picture, 6.0 isn't just about Nodcry's story or the anniversary fireworks. It's about giving every single player, whether you're free-to-play or a light spender, a real chance to walk away with a character they've been waiting for, or maybe even 2 if you get lucky. It feels generous, it feels exciting, and it definitely feels like Hoyoverse is trying to make a statement with this milestone update. But that's just my take on it. What about you? Do you think this is the most generous version so far? Are you planning on spending all those primos on the first banner, or are you saving for later in the patch? I'd love to hear your strategy down in the comments, because everyone's plan is going to be different depending on their roster and who their favorite characters are. And with that, we'll wrap up today's breakdown. If you found this useful and want to keep up with more detailed Genshin Impact guides and updates like this one, be sure to subscribe. We have a lot of exciting content coming as 6.0 rolls out, and you won't want to miss any of it.